In today's video, we're gonna talk about lessons. You guys love when I share my lessons, the times I've lost money, ended up in a pinch, and I've got someone who was brave enough to do an interview with me about a property he went 100 grand over budget on, ended up losing $20,000. But this is definitely a story of perseverance, as well as a little bit of what to do and what not to do. I'd way rather you learn from my mistakes or Will's than have to learn these on your own with your own cash. I appreciate you sitting down and doing this, Will.
Yeah, of course.
This isn't a fun one. I think a lot of people would like to just pretend they didn't lose money on a deal. I tell anybody I'm talking to that's interested in real estate that it's just a matter of time. If you haven't lost a deal yet, it's probably going to happen. Similarly, if you've never had somebody threaten to sue you over something, it's probably going to happen if you're in real estate. So why don't you just kind of walk me through the overview of this. So I know it was a single family flip.
Yep.
But where was it at? What did you purchase it for? What was kind of the initial budget, and then where did things get out of hand?
Cool. So the property is my first flip. It was in Oliver Beach in Maryland, right off the Chesapeake Bay.
Okay.
And our purchase price was $255. The original rehab estimate I got from my general contractor at the time was $135. And the one thing that should have been a red flag immediately was 3 months. They said that they could get the house done in 3 months and it needed full gut. Yeah, so that initially right there,
were they like smaller mom and pop, or because some of those big institutional places can smash stuff out pretty quick, but
this was a guy that a group that basically they've only done a couple, so I should have done my due diligence up front with let me see your referrals.
Where'd you find them? Where'd they come from?
Just through my network.
Okay.
In Maryland.
So
yeah.
Referred to you by somebody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yep. But yes.
So you said purchase of $255?
Yep. $255.
Rehab of
$135.
That's pretty ambitious for a first flip.
Yeah.
I told you off camera, and I'll share here. My first one, I want to say we bought for 20 or 30 grand. We put 40,000 into it, and we thought it would be a good flip, but it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 700 square foot house in a C-class neighborhood with a shared driveway that nobody wanted. And there was also mold and stuff in the basement. So it was, it sat on the MLS. We actually ended up selling it at a discount to a cash buyer just to pay off our private lender. But so that was kind of the initial plan. What actually happened with this thing?
So as we started to get into it, we realized a lot more work was needed. A good example is in the part of the house that was closest to the road, the demo was 3 times as much as what was originally estimated for.
Because there was demo?
Yeah, there's 7 layers of flooring. The part of the house that was closest to the road was the original shack in the 60s.
Wow.
So they just kept layering new flooring.
Wow.
And then they built additions closer to the water and built up. So
it's kind of like Frankensteined from the beginning.
Exactly. There was an addition built in the 80s, then addition on top of that built in 2000s. So it was 4 houses all in one.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but as we started to come through these problems, obviously the budget increased, but at the same time, there was inefficiencies in getting the trades in there to do what they're supposed to do efficiently. And we had to take action and eventually moved on to another general contractor that took up the job and finished everything out for us.
So this literally just closed yesterday, 2 days ago?
Yep.
Because I remember you were out in San Diego. When was that? 4 or 5 months ago?
I think it was June.
Yeah. And you mentioned you were trying to get this thing across the finish line at that point.
Yeah.
So what did you end up actually spending on the remodel?
About $235.
Okay, it's about $100,000 over
what
you'd initially estimated.
Yep.
Okay.
So
that hurts.
It does. Some good things though is we had over a 6-figure profit margin.
Okay.
With the interest rates being so low, that area just our original ARV was 565, and we sold it for 597.
Okay. I was going to ask if it sold for what you thought it would originally sell for, if it sold for more. So it sounds like it sold for a little bit more, which kind of helped offset that.
Yes.
So on this one, it sounds like you had a private lender on it, and they funded your initial purchase and rehab.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
mind like rate what you paid?
It was 12%.
Okay.
2 points. Yep.
Okay. So like
And
14% technically if it was 12 and 2.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So I went in with a partner,
Okay.
and they were able to bring our main lender
Okay.
into the deal and get
Okay.
that secured.
So you said main lender. What happened to fund the rest of the rehabs? You went 100 grand over. Obviously, $100,000 has to come from somewhere.
So initially, one of the first things I did is there was the worry of losing money on the deal, especially my first flip. I didn't want to run into a situation where I couldn't pay my lenders and have to have those conversations. So I pulled out 25 grand in my TSP. I had about 10K in my business bank account, and I had about another 10K in my personal account. And I just put all that together and stuck it in the house.
Okay.
So I had, my own sweat and blood in the property.
Yeah.
So that opened up the conversation where if I needed more capital, which I did, I was able to say, hey, I have skin in the game. We're expected to sell it this much. Every single week, I've been updating my numbers. If we happen to lose more than the money I have in the property, we'll have that conversation. But as of now, we're in a really good spot.
Okay.
So that was good for leverage.
So you kicked in your cash and then brought in some additional kind of mom and pop private money.
Exactly. Anywhere from, I had a lender for 5K to a lender for 25K, 10K, 10K, 15K. So it was
Do you know how many total you had?
I think like 10.
Okay, including like the initial guy. So the initial guy, I'm assuming, had like a first position, like trust deed or mortgage.
Exactly.
How did you secure the rest, or was it not secured?
It was an unsecured promissory note.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was very difficult to get those locked up. I had to be creative. Sometimes I did, hey, if you bring a lender, I'll give you $200 as a sign bonus.
So really kind of worked your network.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also possibly like if you bring a lender at 8%, I was paying my lenders typically 12, so I'll give you 4%.
So how long did the project take from like start to finish?
So I purchased it, I believe, June 20th, somewhere around there, 2019. So I don't know, 17 months.
Okay.
18 months.
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. What were your like total holding costs roughly?
About 87,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how'd you pay for those? Was that just like you kicking in cash? Was that other private lenders?
Private lenders, and I kept my numbers updated. So every week I knew exactly where we stood on the house. But
sounds like an accounting nightmare.
it is.
Yeah.
Especially when you have some lenders that will refuse to do wires. They only want checks. Some of them want them at the beginning of the month, some at the end of the month. Some wanted to do wire transfers through their IRA, so you had to work with their company to figure out how to get that processed properly.
Okay.
I didn't really have a lot of leeway with my lenders because this is my first deal. I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have the portfolio to negotiate terms.
Sure. I mean, you took massive action to get this thing across the finish line, though.
Yes.
There's a lot of people, and I think this speaks volumes of your character. There's a lot of people that, when this went south by 100 grand, would have said, "I'm out. I'm done."
Yeah.
So that's huge. So I think it's easy for somebody to watch this to be like, "Well, I would never go over budget by 100 grand." And the fact of the matter is, I think this deal could have happened to anybody. Mm-hmm. You used the general contractor that was referred to you by people you trusted. What are for anybody watching this that's like, I don't want to be in a position like this, what were like the lessons you learned on this thing?
So there's a couple big ones. Obviously the first one is, make sure you vet your contractors well. General contractor, you need to see their track record. Make sure that they've worked with other people. Maybe even check out their work at a property that they've worked on. You know, you got to make sure that they can do what they say that they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
Another big thing is waterfront properties. Now this is more niche, but if you do get a waterfront property, make sure you take a look at the pier and the bulkhead, you know, everything by the water, because the permits for that can take months and months.
Did you have any issues with that stuff?
We did. So the permits took about 3 months to get everything situated for a brand new bulkhead.
Okay. What is a bulkhead for somebody who's not near a waterfront property?
So right before the pier, you'll have a bunch of tongue and groove wooden boards.
Okay.
That is the bulkhead where the pilings are, and that's like the barrier between the water and the land.
Okay.
Those can cost anywhere between 10 to 20 grand.
Okay. Wow.
If they're done correctly, yes.
Okay. That's pretty substantial.
And the permits can cost $2,500 alone, depending on what you do. If you get the bulkhead, a permit for the bulkhead, the pier, a 50-foot pier, a 100-foot pier, a T-shaped pier, a permit for 3 boat lifts, you can do all kinds of stuff. And typically buyers, if you don't do both the bulkhead and the pier, they want to be able to have the permits which are transferable.
Got it.
Between owners.
Okay.
So.
Cool. So you obviously learned those lessons on this. What else did you learn on it? Got waterfront, you got vetting the contractors.
The last thing is also subcontractors, right? So your general contractors, you know, you may have general contractor you trust, but they may get behind as the project goes along. You want to make sure and go out there and see the subcontractors work every now and then to make sure that they are doing a good job.
Kind of the quality that you want.
Exactly, because with this house, we ran into a ton of issues, anywhere from the roof had 20 to 30 exposed roofing nails that were all rusted.
Okay.
We had missing step flashing by our skylight. So we had a ton of water damage.
Okay.
That we had to fix. Another big one would be the tile work. The tile work we had was done with a bonding agent to where we couldn't remove any cracked tiles. So basically, if you wanted...
So they like glue it? Or...
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the new general contractor we got in, they actually tried to fix we actually had broken tiles. They tried to fix the broken tiles, but they were unable to get them off the wall. They basically said, if you want to get this fixed, we're gonna have to tear out the entire shower.
Wow.
So $6 grand to replace.
Something that you'd already paid to have done the first time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Documentation is another big one. So.
What do you mean by that? Like just permits or?
Well, as far as with, you know, your contractors, making sure you have the information for maybe the subcontractors they use. So in case you do have a situation where you have to fire them. Exactly.
Got it.
We didn't know paint colors. We didn't know the siding, where they got the siding from. All that stuff was, we had to piece together with the new general contractor.
Okay. So I mean, it sounds like other than you really hustling to get this thing done, the general contractor that came that kind of helped you get this thing finished was kind of a godsend, is what it sounds like. It sounds like he put in some real work.
Yep. Yes. And they even reduced their profit end to make sure we were able to get to the finish line.
That's cool.
So
what'd you lose total on this thing?
We lost about 20 grand.
Okay.
And that was split with my partner.
Okay.
So
18 months, kind of a nightmare first flip, and you lost 20 grand. Knowing what you know now, would you go back and do this deal again? If you had to give up all the lessons you learned, all the experience.
Honestly, I would. Now I'm in a position where I've done a massive rehab. I know what's involved. I know the right people to trust to be put on the job. The next one, if I have a 30K rehab, that's going to be done very easy.
I think if I were you, I'd look for a couple of easy ones.
Yeah.
Give yourself a little bit of a break before you take on another waterfront one.
So
cool.
But yeah.
Anything else for the folks that are watching this that you'd like to share that you think would help somebody if they're in a position like you are, where they've got a flip that's not going well and is dragging on?
Make sure you have people you trust that back you. You know, you're going to be in a position like at some point in your lifetime in real estate, you're going to have a deal go south, and you want to make sure you have people that trust that, you know, that will back you in this situation. that maybe you've helped them out in the past, or you just don't want to lose faith. You want to just keep pushing forward and don't let this get you down.
Yeah.
Good things will come.
You mentioned TSP. Are you military?
I actually work for the military.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's right. I remember that.
Yep.
Dude, super props to you just on the mindset to like keep pushing forward despite this avalanche behind you that you're trying to fight your way out of.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm happy for you. I'm glad it closed. And I appreciate you being willing to do this. I mean, I know I said that at the beginning, but a lot of folks wouldn't want to do this video. They want to do the, I did a flip and made money. But realistically, this is like the real part of real estate investing that people don't know. You're gonna have deals that go sideways. You're gonna have contractors that screw you over. People that are watching this that want to get in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Through Facebook. So Will Schuster, Instagram, WJ Schuster.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's SCHUSTER.
Yep. You got it.
Awesome. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. This was a
got
lot of fun.
Awesome.
I'm super, super proud of Will for hopping on and being willing to do this with me. Obviously, this isn't a lot of fun. Losing money is never great. We're all in real estate to make money. But this is one of those deals that really shows his character. And if you're somebody who's going to figure this out, there's a lot of folks that when they realized they were 100 grand over budget would have filed for bankruptcy or said, hey, I just can't do the deal, and walked. Will absolutely busted his ass to get this thing across the finish line. And I hope you kind of see that and that you take kind of that same attitude back to your business. If you start out and you kind of have a quit date or what you're willing to put up with in mind, it's probably better that you just don't start at all. Be sure to like and subscribe. Talk to y'all next time.